Hello friends, today we'll study thermodynamics. Okay, so what is the thermodynamics then? It is the most important part for studying a chemistry. Now it is also related with some terminology in we can also study the same thing in the physics also. Okay, so what is the thermodynamics then? So from the name itself we can see there is a thermo and there is a dynamics. So what does mean? The thermo is nothing but the heat required. Okay, thermo is related with the heat and dynamics means there is some body is in some motion. Okay, so that is nothing but the thermodynamics. So from the name itself we can say there is some change in the heat is taking place, okay, within the body. Okay, so that is nothing but the thermodynamics. Now if we go to the actual definitions of thermodynamics, so from these definitions we can say that thermodynamics is a branch of science that deals with the heat, work and the temperature. Okay, and the relation between the energy, radiation and the physical properties of a matter. Okay, so the actual thing is that we are studying here this uh, in this that we can, if we give a heat, what will happen to that body or a matter. Okay, there will be some changes will take place in that, and that changes we have to study is nothing but the study of thermodynamics. Okay, now here we are concerned with the, in chemistry we are concerned with the chemical reactions. Okay, so generally what happens here, whatever the changes are taking place while there is a chemical reaction is taking place. Okay, so there is a energy change will always take place in the that is a chemical reactions. Okay, so the changes, energy changes, exchange of energy from that reactions is nothing but the study of thermodynamics, that is related with the chemical. Okay, now you can see simple words, exchange of energy in the chemical reactions is nothing but the thermodynamics, or you can say the chemical thermodynamics. Okay, now we will see the different basic terms, okay, that are used for, generally used for studying thermodynamic aspects. Okay, the first one is nothing but the system. Okay, so what is the system? System is nothing but, there is a system. The three terminology basic terms that are used for studying thermodynamics is the system, surrounding and the boundary. Okay, now what is the system, what is the surrounding and what is the boundary, that we will see. Okay, now if you go by this example, okay, so we will see that by taking an example, simple example of that. Okay, so what you can see here is nothing but the beaker that is containing a water into that. Okay, so what we are studying, we are studying the heat changes or the exchanging of heat. Okay, so what we will study, we will study the, that is the water present in that. So water will be the main concern. Okay, that is we will always observe. Okay, so what we can see here, so if the heat is given to that water, then what will happen. Okay, so that is the study. Now what we are studying, we are focusing on the water. So water is to be considered as a system where the changes are taking place. Okay, so that is nothing but the system. Okay, now remaining part other than system will always be there, will be there is the, so remaining part other than that water present in that beaker is considered to be surrounding. Okay, now we can see here. So remaining part other than system is called as surrounding. Now one more thing is there, there is a walls of that beaker. Okay, that walls of beaker is separating the system with the surrounding. Okay, it is separating that. So that is called as the walls of the beaker is called, considered to be boundary. Okay, so that is the simple term that are used in industries, sorry, in chemical the thermodynamics. Okay, so that is the three terms, that is system, surrounding and the, that is a boundary. Okay, now we can see actually how we can define it. So it is a system, it is a part of a universe to be observed or to be studied. Okay, so it will study whatever the subject is there. If you want to study that, so that is called as a system. Okay, remaining things other than system is called as a surrounding, and the thing that is separate, that separate the system from the surrounding is called as a boundary. Okay. Now if you see that this is a simple tea, cup of tea, the cup is there. In that inside that cup there is a tea. Okay, it will be hot, it will be cold. Now we have to study the nature of the tea. It is hot or cold. So that is considered to be a system. Okay. Now what we can the remaining part other than that water, that tea present in that cup, remaining will be considered as a surrounding. Okay. And the walls of that cup is considered as a boundary. Okay. So that is a simple example from where we can study the three terms. Okay. These three terms are very important for studying the thermodynamics. Okay. Now we see that number of types of boundaries are present. It may be real, it may be imaginary. Okay. Real means we can see from the figure itself. So it will, so whatever the boundary is there, it can be visible easily. Okay. So the walls of that cup is visible. That means it is called as a real boundary. Okay. Now if it is not visible, so we can see that if there is no walls are there, but the water pond, you can say there is a pond present in that environment. Okay. So that is it is having a water, but so there is a remaining, so all the water is considered to be system. Okay. But there is air, atmosphere is also there, that is called as a surrounding. But the two separation, the water and the surrounding is separated by some boundary which we cannot see. It is called as considered as the imaginary type of a boundary. Now you see next type is the rigid and the flexible. So rigid is the boundary which cannot change its shape, and the flexible boundaries are nothing but which can change the shape. Okay. Now the diatherms and the adiabatic types. So diatherms are nothing but the boundary which can exchange the heat, or we can see, if we see this is a simple diagram, or we can also see this diagram. Okay. So that is a, if the cup is having a uh, hot tea, so what we can say that it will exchange that heat with the surrounding even if it is present in the cup. So boundary of that cup is allowing the energy to transfer. In that case it is called as a diatherm type of a boundary. Now what is adiabatic boundary? Then it is exactly opposite. It doesn't allow the energy to transfer through from system to the surrounding. Okay. So these are the basic terms that are used in that is thermodynamics, that are very useful for studying. Now we see there are number of types. Okay. So number of types of systems are there. There are three major types are there, that is open, closed and isolated system. So the system will have three types. First one is open, second one is the closed, third one is the isolated. Now we see an example. Okay, again we will see the example of that water present in the that beaker. Okay. Now this system is said to be an open system. Why? Okay, because if you see that there is a beaker and the opening of that beaker is open, there is no close, no plate is installed, it is kept on that beaker. Okay. So if we consider that the water present in that beaker is hot. Okay. So what happens here? Due to the heat of that water, the walls of that beaker will become hot, and that beaker, the walls of water beaker will exchange the heat with the environment. So what we can see here in this case, if there is hot water present, so the surrounding around this beaker wall will become heated up. Okay, it will also become hot. So what it says that the the system present in hot water system, it is exchanging the energy with the environment. Say at the same time, if water is there, okay, hot water is there, it is always give off the vapors. Okay. So whatever the vapors we are getting, it is exchanging with the surrounding. So in that case what happens here, both the matter, okay, in open system both matter and the energy is can be exchanged with the surrounding. It is called as a open system. Okay. So that is a simple definition for that open system. We can say that there is a exchange of energy as well as the matter with from the system to the surrounding. It is called as a open system. Now what will be the same, then what will be the closed system? Same example we can see that if we are placing a plate on the that beaker, so what will happen, there will be only exchange of energy will take place. and the whatever the vapors are coming, it will be not given to the surrounding. Okay, so in that case it is called, it is said to be a closed system. Okay, where only the energy is exchanged and there is no matter is exchanged in that. Okay, so what it says that closed systems are system where there is only exchange of energy and there is no exchange of matter from the system to the surrounding. Okay, now you see the next type of a system is called as a isolated system. Okay, in that case there is neither the exchange of matter and nor the exchange of energy is taking place from the system to the surrounding. Okay, so that is called as the isolated system. No matter is exchanged from the system to surrounding. Okay, no energy is exchanged from system to the surrounding. So we can take an example of a thermos bottle where it is used for keeping the water or a tea or a cup of a milk. This kept in that thermos so that it cannot become cold. Okay, so what is that? It is not, so thermos will not allow the energy from that heat from that water or a tea to be exchanged with the environment. Okay, so that is a simple example of a isolated system. Okay, now what it says that there is neither exchange of energy nor the matter of system will be with the surrounding. Okay, no exchange is taking place, that is called as a isolated system. Okay, now the very important term for studying thermodynamic, okay, is the state and the path functions. So as we know that there are number of parameters that are available. Okay, so if you take a body, any body or a matter, so it will have some variables. It may be a volume. Okay, it may be a pressure exerting on that body, it may be the temperature on that body. Okay, so these are the variables. Okay, but there are different types of, there are mainly two types of variables we can classify them. It is a state and a path function. Okay, so variables: pressure, time, volume, and entropy, enthalpy, all these things, specific heat, all these things are nothing but the variables which will define the state of a body or a matter. Okay, so there are two types of variable there, it can be classified is the state and the path function. Okay, now what is the state function then? Okay, so whenever the variables are there, it defines that what it says that it depends on the initial and the final states and does not depend on the path. Okay, so that is called as the, that is the state functions. Okay, so if you see this diagram, okay, now it is a, suppose this is a body, okay, matter. Now if we are hitting that, so it is at initial step, initial state where the temperature is T1, pressure is P1, volume is the V1, and if we heat give the changes to that body, if you give the heat to that body, so the this all these three variables will change. So it will increase or decrease, the values of these three parameters will increase or decrease. Okay, so what will happen, they will go from initial state to the final state, that is called as a P2, V2 and T2. Okay, so there will be a, so P1 will be the initial step of pressure, T1 will be the initial state of temperature, V1 will be the initial state of volume. Okay, and if you give the some changes, if you hit that body, so it will change from V1 to V2, T1 to T2, P1 to P2. So these are the variables. So what happens here, the change has been taken place and into that matter or a body, so the variables are also changing. Okay, they are changing their positions, the values of that variables are changing. Okay, so it is from initial to the final state. But here in this that is in this process, so we can only consider the state function. Okay, so what is the state function? All the pressure, temperature, volumes are state function. Okay, it doesn't depend on the path. So whatever the heat is given, it may be by direct heating, it may be by direct fire, it may be by the electric current. Okay, so it is not depending, only it is considering the initial and the final state. That's why it is called as a state function. It does not depend on the path. Okay, it only depend on the initial and the final state of a, that is a, of a process. Okay, So we can see that state functions, it is depends only on the initial and the final state and does not depend on the path. Okay, so that is the example of a state function. Again, we can see there is a examples for state functions are temperature, pressure, volume, internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, gives free energy. All these are nothing but the state function. Now we can see that all the state functions are generally denoted by the delta sign. You can see here delta sign, and that delta sign is simply it is, so whatever the state functions are there, they can be written as delta t. Okay, and what does the delta t means? It is nothing but the temperature, or we can say the difference between the temperature of initial final minus the initial state. So again same thing for the pressure. So pressure can be defined by that delta P, and what does the delta P means? It is equal to the pressure at the final state minus the pressure at the initial state. Okay, it is only giving the difference between the two states, initial and final. That's why they are called as a state function. Okay, now all of them, volume, temperature, pressure, all of them are a state function. Okay, again we can define same thing for internal energy also, enthalpy also, entropy also, gives free energy also. So these are the new terms we will study in the further part of this presentation. Okay, what are internal energy, what is enthalpy, entropy, and that's all the things. Okay, now we see the path function. Now the as per the name, whatever the variables are there, okay, they are only dependent on the path. Okay, so the example of that path functions are always there will be work and a heat. Okay, so if you see that if the changes are given to that body, it will perform some work. Okay, so work will be of different types. Okay, that's why the work is always a path function. Again heat, so heat, what type of heat is we are giving to that body, it is always considered, that's why it is a path function. Okay, now we can see there is a, again there is a very important terminology, that is extensive and the intensive properties. Okay, so what we have studied up till now is the simple process and their variables. Now we can see again there is a extensive properties are there also. Again there is a intensive properties. Okay, whatever the variables are there, they have a two properties. Okay, now what is the extensive property? Then it is a property whose value depends on the quantity or a size, okay, of a matter present in that system. Okay, so extensive properties examples are mass, volume, internal energy, heat capacity, enthalpy, entropy, gives free energy. Okay, see these are the example of a extensive property. Now what it says that what it says, it is a property whose value depends on quantity. Okay, so if we take a simple beaker and we are filling that beaker with the 500 ml of water, so what will be the volume of that water? It will be 500 ml. Okay, now what is say that if we increase or if you, it depends on the volume or quantity. Okay, if we again further add 200 ml 200 ml water to that, okay, so what will happen? The value of volume will change. Okay, same thing, again if we increase the volume, again it will change, so volume is changing. So this volume is nothing but it is an extensive property, it depends on the quantity and the size. Same thing if we are considering the density, yeah, sorry, if you considering, okay, so if you consider a weighing balance, okay, and in that weighing balance we are keeping 1 kg of load. Okay, so whatever the display is there, it will always display 1 kg. Again if you add one more kg to that, it will display 2 kg. So the mass is changing when we are increasing the quantity. That's why it is called as a extensive properties. Okay, so mass, volume are always a extensive property. Same thing will happen when the internal energy is, okay, if we increase the quantity, internal energy will change. If we increase the quantity, heat capacity will change. Same thing will be there. Now we see the intensive properties. Okay. Now what is the intensive property? Is a property whose value are independent on the quantity of a size, okay, or a size, okay, of a matter present in the system. Same thing, we take an example of beaker that is present 500 ml of water. Okay. Now the examples of intensive properties are pressure, temperature, density, concentration, viscosity, etc. So if we take a 500 ml of water and if we consider the pressure will be always, some pressure will be there, and temperature will be there. Again, if you add one more 500 ml to that, again the value of pressure will be same, temperature will be same. Again, if you add more volume, again the pressure will be same, temperature will be same. Again, if you add 1 liter of water into that beaker, density of water will be always remain same, that is 1000. Okay, concentration will be also remain same. Okay, viscosity will always remain same. So what it says that whatever the volume we are adding, these properties are independent on that. Okay, it will remain constant, and that is called as the intensive property. The examples are pressure, temperature, density, and and concentration, viscosity, all are the intensive properties. Okay. Now we see next. Okay, next part of our presentation is the types of thermodynamic processes. So the next term important part of our presentation is the types of thermodynamic process. Okay, so there are a number of types of a thermodynamic process. Okay, the first type we will discuss here is the isothermal process. Okay, so what is the isothermal process? The name itself says iso is the same. Okay, therm is the temperature. Okay, so what it says that there is a isothermal process where the temperature will always remain constant. Okay, so in that case the process is called as a isothermal process. Okay, now if we, for all the processes we will take a common example. Okay, so if you take a cylinder, okay, and in that cylinder a frictionless piston is there, okay, and which can move to and fro inside that cylinder. Okay, and it is there is a close at one end, and in that cylinder the gas is present. Okay, so what happens here? The gas is present. Now what happens here? This is a system. Okay, system is gas present in the cylinder. Okay, now what will happen if we exchange? So if we heat that body, that cylinder, at a certain point, okay, what will happen? The heat will increase, whatever the gases are there, it will expand, and that will move the piston in this direction. Okay, again, if you cool that system, the piston will move in this direction because contraction of gases will take place. Okay, so that is a system, simple system. Okay, now what we can see, what is the thermodynamic, that is what is the uh, isothermal process then here. Now the whole system, if the pressure is increasing, and what will happen? There is no change in the temperature is taking place. Okay, so what we can see here, so if we are applying a pressure to that gas inside that cylinder, okay, what will happen? There will be some changes in the pressure. The pressure in that gas will increase. Okay, due to increase in pressure, the piston will move in this direction. Okay, and the whole assembly is kept at a room temperature. The temperature is always remaining constant. Okay, so in that case, what is constant here? The temperature is constant. Okay, what is changing? Only the pressure, and due to that pressure, volume is also changing. Okay, so that is the process is called as a isothermal process, where the temperature is remaining constant and another variables are changing. Okay, that is called as a isothermal process. Now if you go to same example, if you go by the ideal gas law, what is say that it is a PV is equal to nRT. Okay, okay, but here the temperature is zero, it is considered as a zero constant. Okay, so what will happen? The remaining equation will be P will be directly proportional to 1 by V. So what it says that If P is increasing, volume will decrease. So P is inversely proportional to the volume. So if you draw the graph of this system, okay, so what we will get? We will get a decreasing curve like this. Okay, now if we increase the pressure, the volume will, okay, it will decrease. Again, if we increase the pressure, volume is, so what happens here? So at this point, if we define this point, okay, so what is that? At higher pressure, the volume will be less. Okay, so that is a simple thing. So here what we can see, that isothermal process, the temperature remains constant, and in that process the pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. Okay, so if you increase the pressure, volume will decrease. Okay, simple. If you see the example of that volume, okay, so suppose this is a body and we are applying a pressure into that. Okay, so due to this pressure, the volume of that, it will be decreased. So this body will tend to contract, and due to that contract in that body, contraction in the body, the volume will also decrease. Okay, so whenever we are increasing the pressure, the volume will decrease. Same thing, if we are decreasing the pressure, volume will increase. Okay, so for isothermal process, the curve, okay, pressure will always be inversely proportional to the volume, and if you draw that curve, so we will get this type of curve that is given in the graph. Okay, now you see the process, that is isobaric process. Okay, now here iso is bar, baric process means that is the bar is the pressure, unit of a pressure. Okay, so here pressure is constant. Okay, now what will happen here? Now the, if we take a same example of the cylinder, so what it says that if we are keeping the pressure constant and we are increasing whatever the things are changing. Okay, so what we can see, so the process in which the pressure remains constant is called as isobaric process. Now here again we take an example of the piston, okay, into the cylinder. Again we are hitting the temperature here. Okay, we are giving the heat to that system. So what will happen? The temperature is increasing, pressure will, if the pressure is kept constant, what will happen? Due to that increase in pressure, volume will also increase. So in that case, if we are considering the pressure to be constant, volume will be obviously directly proportional to the temperature. And if you draw the graph of the system, we will get a straight line. Okay, so that is nothing but the isobaric process. Okay, now you see the isochoric process. Here volume remains constant. Okay, so again if you see the diagram of that piston, example of that piston. Okay, now what it says that volume is constant, that means no work done will be there, no movement of that piston will be there either in this direction or in this direction. So no work, no volume change, there will be no work. So in isochoric process, always work done will be remains constant. Okay, there will be no work done will take place in that isochoric process. Okay, now again in that isochoric process, P is directly proportional to the temperature. Whenever we increase the pressure, temperature will also increase, and if it will give a single straight line. Okay, so these are the three processes, major processes, that is used in industries, sorry, in the study of thermodynamics. Okay, so again we will see the next type of process is the adiabatic process. Okay, here what we can see, there is a in which process in which the transfer of heat is constant. Okay, there is no heat transfer taking place either into the system. Okay, so what we can say here, Q is 0. Again if Q is 0, there will be no work done will take place. Again if you take an example of that piston and the piston in the cylinder. Okay, now what we can see here, okay, if we are not providing any heat to that system, no movement of that piston will take place. Again no movement, that means there will be no work done will be there. Okay, Again, if you draw the graph pressure versus time, again we will get a decreasing type of a curve. Okay, it will be similar to that of isothermal process, but it is the values of that graph's curve will be again will be less than that of a isothermal process. Okay, so these are the four major types of processes in thermodynamics that are very useful for studying. Okay, thermodynamic aspects. Okay, so just these are very important points, and here we will end our presentation. And thank you for your attention, whatever you have given for me. Okay, thank you.